So tonight we are going to talk about what happened in Kabul. Obviously, that is the topic of conversation. It is very sad. It is very devastating. Um, I am going to wait for Chris. I don't know if John Tisha is joining us or not tonight, but I'm going to wait for them to join us. In the meantime, we'll talk about a few things and a little facts that we do know. What I do know as of right now is there are 12 Marines that are dead. There are 60 deaths total. There are 140 wounded. And I'm sure the death toll will go up as the days continue. Please pray for everyone involved, including their friends and family at home. Things are not well. Literally, I'm at a loss for words, to be honest. It is disgusting. It is very, very disgusting. I'm going to catch up on a few comments. So while Chris and John Tisha are not here, usually they help pull up my videos. It's going to be a little difficult. It's normally difficult for me, but it's been a little more difficult. See this little baby? Got a swollen middle finger. No, I'm not giving anyone the finger, but work injury, dealing with a violent mental. So yes, that's where I'm at. But let's get into it. I'm gonna check out some of your comments. I'm waiting, like I said, I'm waiting for Chris to jump on. The mosquitoes have been truly reckless, and not me. Okay. Hey. Hi, Chelly. Hi, Linda. Hey, Jack. Your comment the other day was so hilarious. Hi, Marla, Oralia, Linda, Nikki. Hello. Cecilia, how are you? Tammy. Hi, Steve. How are you? Angie, how are you? Prayers for our men and women fighting for us all. Yes. Hello. I'm just seeing Chris is still setting up. So as soon as Chris jumps on, we're going to kind of get into it. Chris, I could see you. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay, Chris is ready. So let's welcome Chris to the stage.
Hello, everybody.
You sound hello. You sound echoey.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. All right.
So basically, the only thing I talked about so far was what I have now from what I've been reading, and this was within the last hour, was 12 Marines confirmed dead, 60 deaths, and 140 wounded. That's what I have as far as an hour ago. Do you have any updated numbers, or does that sound about right to you? He's not even listening.
Let me see.
Hi, Christina. Hi, Tammy.
I don't understand.
All right. Can you repeat those statistics again?
So I have 12 Marines dead.
So it's hitting around the end.
It's something is echoing in your background. It's too loud. I can't hear. Okay. So I have 12 Marines dead, 60 deaths, and 140 wounded as of an hour ago.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been following all day, and I honestly, I have no at this moment. I don't know what to say about what's really going on or what we're seeing, other than it's sad and it was unnecessary.
I agree. Amy just said 13 now. And I'm sure that the number is going to increase over the days because some are very badly injured. So I think as the days progress, that number will rise. So that's all I talked about in the meantime. I want to start today's video with, I want to start it with one of the videos that I sent. If you can do me a favor, can you pull up the Ben Shapiro one and put it at hold on a second. Sorry, I gotta go through the messages really quick. Bear with us, guys. Bear with us. I'll tell you which one because I know I sent a timestamp on it. All right. Sorry, you guys. I've sent Chris and Jantisha a lot of shit throughout the day. Um, 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Can you hear me, Chris? I'll put it in the private chat just in case. You could hear me?
I could hear you. I'm just trying
okay.
to log in. I'm not on my laptop. I'm on Tisha, so she's logging me in real quick.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, I just heard 13 and I know there was 16 wounded and some critical care. Yeah, so what I have from an hour ago was 12 Marines, 60 total deaths and 140 wounded. So I believe that the number of deaths will go up as the days go on. I do believe that. I think that I agree with Chris that this is, to me, this is disgusting. How far we have fallen. That's kind of where I'm at. We are not being led. I think that anyone who has any sort of power, including the president, the vice president, and any member that sits there who swore to serve and protect the United States Americans, have blood on their hands. That's just my opinion of it, to be honest.
Real quick, can you still hear the feedback?
Not as bad, no.
Okay, so no, I agree with you, and I think for me it's like for everybody that voted for Joe Biden and didn't really look at what he's been doing. I'm not like, this is nothing against those people, but hopefully this is the wake up call that people need to see that it probably wasn't the best idea they weren't really voting for Biden. They were voting against Trump. And this is kind of the situation we had with Hillary and Trump, where it's like, where do you pick? Which one do you pick? And you got like the worst of two evils. But with Trump, at least he was trying to bring some policy and he has some good ideas. Biden didn't really bring anything. He flip-flopped on everything. And now that we're here, this is on him. This is all on him. And he does. 13 deaths, that's on him. And he tried to brush it off earlier, but I think there was a moment, and we'll see when we watch that video, but I think there was a moment where you could see like he kind of got choked up, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the only thing I'm gonna say, I agree with you 100%. And people tend to say like, oh, this is not Joe Biden's fault because he's not running the country. I've heard a lot of Republicans or conservatives say that, right? Like, oh, this is, he's not even running the country, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, he has the title of president and shall have anything that falls with this country falls in his hands, period. Like, we cannot make excuses for people. Yes, we know that he has cognitive issues, but he still, and his handlers, whoever, his wife, etc., they know exactly what they're doing. I'm going to give you guys my little conspiracy theory, and I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I believe that this is their ticket to to invoking the 25th Amendment. That's just my personal opinion. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
No, I agree with you. I think we're getting closer to that point. where I think we'll see over the next. I think it's going to happen quickly. The 25th Amendment, if they do decide to go that route, it's going to happen within the next couple of weeks, and I think they'll do that just to get him out of hot water.
I agree. And then they will use his cognitive decline, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, that's what I think. So Chris is getting the video ready to show you, because we're going to show you guys this video. It's not very long. There's a few little clips that we're going to show you throughout, just to kind of prove points as to what Chris said. Chris said that he hopes, this is not to attack anyone. We are not trying to attack anybody. Okay. But this is hopeful. This is in hopes that people who voted against Trump, not necessarily because you like Joe Biden or knew anything about policy. It's not that one, Chris.
Oh, all right.
It's the Dan Bongino one. Anyone who actually voted based on your feelings, this is why we say repeatedly and have said, I don't know, over the last year, right? We should not be voting based on feelings. We should be voting based on policy. And this is exactly why we have said this over and over again. We're not here attacking you. We're not blaming you. What we're saying is that we knew he was incompetent because we read. He has had 47 years to prove that he's been competent, and he has done nothing but show incompetence year after year after year. And if this is not an eye-opener, I do not know what is an eye-opener for anybody who would choose to vote for him. But it's minute 9:55.
Here's Biden's own words right here. Him not warning of the danger of the country.
If you guys can, let me know if you could hear the audio.
Opposite. The Afghan National Army, they are prepared. They've got an air force. Does this sound like a dire warning that you're all going to die soon and the country's going to collapse? Here's his own words. Check this out.
It is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
It's his own words, man. It's not my words. Again, this is all bull. I want to cause him too many edits.
You could stop it.
It's all BS.
So the reason I wanted to start with this clip in particular, because this was done, I want to say that video of Joe Biden was probably between 3 weeks to a month ago. And he was saying that they were well equipped. So there was really no concern. He didn't think that today was going to happen. So I just want to prove that that is him a month ago. Now, one of the, what's his name? What is this guy's name? I forgot his name. Anyways, there's this guy who went on defending Joe Biden and his actions and stated that they had been warning Americans since April to get out of Kabul, to leave, because they knew that this was coming. They were anticipating it. I wish I knew what I did with that video. This was a month ago. In that video, does he look like he's terrified? Does he look like he is telling Americans to leave Afghanistan? That's a hard no for me. So and the reason I point that out is because I want you to understand the hypocrisy that is happening, because now what they're doing is gaslighting. They say one thing in one breath, and then when shit really hits the fan, they twist it and manipulate it to make you believe, oh, well, we were warning Americans. And his exact, that's him. That's it, Chris. Now listen to this. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I just pulled the Shelly.
You did.
So what I was saying was, this isn't the video. I just wanted to pull this up so everybody could see who it was that you're talking about.
Yes.
Ambassador Ross Wilson. He did come out, and I did watch him, and he said since April, you know, they've been telling these people to leave, and if they haven't left, that's on them. If I can find the video, we'll play it in a minute. But I didn't see it as I was searching it. That's why I didn't bring it up. But yeah, I wasn't really too happy with what he was saying because, okay, yeah, you may have warned the people, you may have told them, but if the military is still there and active, and they're still, life is going on like normal, and Joe Biden doesn't make it seem like there's a threat, and he says everything's good, I think mixed signals were given, and the wrong impression was left on the people that were there. And for him to put it back off on those civilians, our civilians, American civilians, I think that's wrong. Maybe some of them is partially to blame, but you know, because we don't know what they were told. But I think we say majority of this, 99% of it falls on Biden, because they went about everyday business like it was all good.
I found the video. All right, so let me share the audio. Just so you can understand what Chris and I are talking about. And what really bothered me was his nonchalant, like, well, then that's on them kind of attitude. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the military people there didn't have the option to fucking leave. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. What did I just do? All right, hold on. There we go. Did I share my audio? I probably didn't, like a chicken nugget head. All right, hold on. Let's do it again. Take two. I'm like working, and the thing is I usually use my middle finger. And as you can see,
I got
one
it.
of these little bad boys. You got it? I got it up.
Has been raised.
Is that you or me? Me.
This is me.
Okay. All right, then I'll cancel mine. Okay, there you go. I'll mute so you can play it. This was his response.
Oh, come on. All right, let's play it from here.
Why didn't the U.S. get out Americans and our Afghani friends before the Taliban were able to take control of Kabul? You warned about this in a cable. Were you ignored?
We put out repeated warnings every 3 weeks to Americans going back to, I think, March or April, each one in stronger terms: leave now, leave immediately. Never in my 40 years of working, since I began working at the State Department, have I seen such strong language used. People chose not to leave. That's their business. That's their right. We regret now that many may find themselves in a position that they would rather not be in, and we are determined to try to help them.
Now, one of the groups we mentioned last night is the Heritage Foundation.
That was pretty much the gist of it. They cut him off a little short, but as you guys could hear yourself, he said that they had been saying it since, I think, this is words, I think they've been, we told them back in March or April. For me, I'm big on documentation and proof. So if instead of thinking, these politicians and these ambassadors and these people and these that are in these positions, they need to come out and say on March 12th at 2:38 p.m. Afghanistan time, whatever time that is, we sent out the first email warning them. If you listen to them every time, it's, I think we did this or around this date. No. And that's where I start, like, for me personally, I'm like, this sounds like BS, or I don't know, they really did that, because they won't even come out with give you dates or times. I think we did this back in March or April. I want to know, did you? So when I'm listening to somebody like this guy, this ambassador, I want him to say, I know in April, 100% without a doubt, on the 1st or on the 2nd April, we sent them something, or May 30th, whatever it may be, and then show the proof, show the emails. They'll show us everything else. They'll show us Twitter, screenshots of Twitter. They'll leak emails and show you a screenshot and throw it up, on the internet or whatever. I want to see that. Like, follow through with it. Give us some proof. And then I thought it was a joke for him to be like, we use really strong language. Like what? I want to know what their strong language was. Because honestly, I mean, unless you were like, get the out of here now, to me, everything else, that's not, how strong could it have been? So that's my thoughts on it.
Did you just mute me?
No.
I was like, did you just mute me? I said I could hear Tisha talking. But yeah, I think that they're very quick to show receipts. And I think, well, if you're saying that you've been warning them, he said 3 weeks apart, right? Going back to April. Well, the video that we first showed of President Biden talking was, I think, 3 to 4 weeks ago. And he had zero concerns. Zero concerns. Today, there's a picture. I'm gonna put it on the screen really quick. What did that do with it? So this picture. So this is from President Biden. It says, to those who carried out this attack, as well as anyone who wishes America harm, know this: we will not forgive, we will not forget, we will hunt you down and make you pay. I will defend our interests and our people with every measure at my command. This was President Biden. I put an arrow right there because I found it quite disgusting or disturbing, whichever word you prefer, that he would put interest first before people. I think that speaks volumes. Maybe it's just me, but I think it speaks volumes of what a piece of work he is, to be honest.
Yeah, see that, and that's what I was telling you earlier. I wanted to go through and listen to everything he said and then do the breakdown, because when it comes to that part, he, for him to say he's going to put our interests first, but yet we watched him put Russia's interests first. He shut down pipelines, and they moved in a lot of territory. They put, from what I heard, I haven't really done a lot of research on this, but from what I'm hearing, they put a lot of pressure on us in the Atlantic, in the ocean, and on the UK. If that's the truth, then where's his interest in us at? Because it seems like he's letting them really bully us and push us this way. And that's on the Atlantic side. Then on the Pacific side, we got China. And this move he pulled in Afghanistan gives China a strategic platform, as far as moving out and being able to dominate the area. Now, I know that's what some of the news has said, or it's floating around. I personally don't think China and the Taliban or any of the Middle East are just going to be friends, best friends forever, because they're really two different cultures and have two different religions. But I think at the moment it will benefit both parties in the short term. And then we have, can't think of the little island that they're trying to get back.
Chicken nugget brain.
I know. I just lost it and I had it. I'll have to look it up. But there's that island. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, there's the one that they keep saying is their property.
Post it in the comments.
I can't believe I forgot. Taiwan. Thank you. Then you got Taiwan. And if we try to put up any push there.
Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
We're going to welcome Jerome Bell to the screen. Yeah. Hi, Jerome.
Hey.
How you doing, Jerome?
Hey, what's up, Chris? Chelly, how y'all doing?
Well, I'm good, thank you. Chris, you want to finish, and then we'll have.
No, I'm just saying, so we got issues going on with Taiwan. So when I heard him say, "I'm gonna do what's in the best interest or what's in American interest," like we haven't been doing that for a while now. I mean, I think Trump was trying to do it, and he had the best intentions, but I hate to always go towards the Democratic Party, but the Democrats in that side of the house, we have not been in their best interest on many different levels. To me, this is just another one. If America was in his best interest, he would have planned better for this pulling out of Afghanistan. So when I heard it, I'm like, that's a load of bullshit.
I think, honestly, here goes my conspiracy theories again, right? So I think this shit is planned, to be honest. I really do. I really think that he knows exactly what's going to happen when he made moves the way he did. And again, I think that I don't ever think that he's truly running anything. So I think this is all like that part of that greater, bigger plan to invoke that 25th Amendment because he's incompetent. That's just my thoughts, but my volume is low. Okay, I'll try to. So that's just my thoughts. Jerome, what are your thoughts on what's happening?
Hey, first of all, hi to everyone. Hey, thanks for sending me the link, Shelly. I thought about it today, and I've been thinking about it all day. And I actually just put up a tweet post not too long ago, basically saying what you said. But first, let me say this. Let me give my condolences and my prayers to the families of these Marines and this sailor that lost their lives and any other person that lost their life or was injured today. My prayers go out to you all. The plan to leave Afghanistan was set, and it was set by President Trump. Now, they say that it was Trump's plan. Yes, but this wasn't Trump's execution. You can have someone's plan and execute it poorly and it not have the same results. So yes, President Trump's plan was to leave Afghanistan by May, but his plan was conditional. His plan was not giving up any territory. His plan was not to give up Bagram Air Base. His plan was not to leave Americans behind enemy lines. His plan was not to pull out the military before the civilians and leave all the equipment. I mean, that's asinine. And that's exactly what Joe Biden did, because Joe Biden and this administration have been hell-bent on reversing everything that President Trump did and to blame President Trump. The correct way would have been to keep Bagram Air Base, because I've been to Bagram. Bagram Air Base was secure because of the location. We could secure Bagram Air Base. There was no way that we could secure Karzai International. And to give up Bagram, which was very strategic, and leave our equipment there, that had to be done on purpose. Nobody's that stupid, and the more and more I thought about it today, I said, well, this was definitely a planned out fiasco, you can say, on the Biden administration. Let me tell you why. Because over the past 4 years, when Trump was in office, we did not have any new wars, which means the neocons and the military industrial complex and these warmongers were not making money, because that's how they make money. They make money with war. And so historically, if you just look back historically, Americans don't want war, right? We typically don't have the stomach for war unless American lives are lost. So let's go back. Let's look at Pearl Harbor. Okay, they knew that the Japanese was coming because we got telegraphs and calls from Australia. Hey, they're passing Australia. They're on their way to Hawaii. Y'all might want to get ready, type stuff. But they let it happen to get us in World War II, for us to be able to fund both sides of the war against, Hitler and stuff like that, right? And to make money. So once we got hit at Pearl Harbor, Americans were pissed off, right? Okay, let's go kick some Japanese ass. Let's get in this war because they've, fucked with Americans. Okay, So Pearl Harbor. Then we look at Vietnam. Okay, the Gulf of Tonkin. Hey, they blown up our ships. Let's go kick some ass, right? You know, we're losing lives. Then we look at 9/11, right? All the lives lost in the trade center. Okay, let's go. And that's what took us to Afghanistan in the first place. Theoretically, that's what they told us, right? So now the neocons, they tried to get Trump into a war. They tried. Trump was too smart for that. And so they installed Biden. They stole the election. They installed Biden because Biden's a dumbass. He's senile. And he put all of these. All you got to do is just look at Biden's cabinet, look at everyone that surrounds Biden. They're neocons, they're warmongers, they're stockholders in the military industrial complex companies. So I'm thinking that this was definitely a plan to just get us back into a war back in Afghanistan again. And pretty much after listening to at him read the cue cards, it wasn't a speech, but listening at him read the teleprompter, he pretty much said it, right? He pretty much said, well, now we're going to do everything that we have to do, and we're going to search you out wherever you are, blah, blah, blah. That's the same line that they used with Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, and all of this stuff. The same lines now. And now we have a new boogeyman, right? If you look at it, who was it? It was Al-Qaeda, right? Then it was ISIS. Then it was ISIL. Then it's ISIS. Now it's ISIS-K. It's the same fucking people. Why are you changing names? They're changing names to give us a new boogeyman because now we're pissed off again. We just had 11 Marines killed and 1 sailor. You know, we got Americans trapped behind enemy lines. We have to go in there and kick some ass. Hence, we're back at war with Afghanistan again. And it's all by design for the warmongers, for the military industrial complex, because $2 trillion spent over there with the interest that's going to hit by 2050, it'll be $6 trillion. This is the money that the bankers made. This is the money that these people make on war. And we're going to do it again because people are pissed off. Exactly. And that's pretty much, that's it. In my honest opinion.
And you know what? We've talked about that before. Chris and I have talked about that before, where I have said to people, like, you need to look into these things, and people, you know, people who don't really research or don't really understand how war generates money for these asshole elites, they're the same people that vote based on their feelings because they're not reading into any kind of policy. They have no idea what cause and effect is. And unfortunately, we have military, we have innocent people losing their lives to make people rich.
They're sacrifices, you know, because these people, you know, the Illuminati, these people, the elitists, these globalists, they have to have sacrifices to even, you know, exist. That's what they do. And these people today and the people that are gonna, you know, die over there because of this are sacrificial lambs. They're definitely sacrifices for these people because they're sick.
Hey, so I brought this up because you said something that I was thinking about saying, and you beat me to it, Jerome. But I'm with you on it. That, to me, when I heard ISIS-K, right, I was like, who the hell's ISIS-K? All of a sudden, ISIS-K's here, and they're in the Taliban territory, and they're sworn enemies. But they got far enough into Kabul to the airport to plot a terrorist attack, because that's what it was. And that doesn't ring a bell to anybody. And I was like, to me, that's some bullshit. I call bullshit. They're the same damn people. I'm with you. And then I started looking up, okay, well, who are they? Because I haven't heard of them. I've been in for 10. I was in 10 years, and I've never heard anybody mention ISIS-K. No, and so I started looking, and it was a few reports here and there. They're a smaller group. They say that they started up in 2015, but there's really nothing. You have this. It tells you where the group's from, and then I found another article, February 2019. It has never been in the news. It's never been a big deal, but now, like you said, they are the bad guy. They're the boogeyman. And we got to go kill them, but we're not going to do it in Afghanistan because we can't have a fight in Afghanistan. So really what he said was pointless.
Basically is what it is, you know. And like I said, nobody's heard of them. First thing I heard, I said ISIS. I'm like, okay, here we go. Okay, and it's always like that. They have to have a boogeyman to go after, and it's the same old playbook, same old story, over and over and over again. And unfortunately, people die, and people in Americans, we fall for it because because we're Americans and we love America and we love our people, and they know that, and they know, to get us, riled up, all we got to do is just kill some Americans. That's it. Let's do it now, and now we can go back to war and do what we do.
And what's crazy about that is I know they know that how much we love our people and we'll sacrifice ourselves for our brothers and sisters, right? Because I remember when I was in basic training, and this is when, hey, they're showing you videos. This stuff's real. These things really do happen. People die. Yeah. And there was a video, and it's always stayed with me. There's a guy, he gets sniped. His battle buddy goes back to pick him up. He gets sniped. Another battle buddy goes back to pick him up. He gets hit. You got 3 people down because we never leave a fallen soldier, right? They know that that's in us. They know that we're going to go back. They know that if they provoke us and they kill one of ours, we're going to go back, because that's how war goes, and that's how proud we are in our nation. So to me, it was like, well, they know what they're doing. They're provoking us, and they've been doing it for a week since it started.
Right. I mean, because you can't tell me. I mean, there's letters, there's emails, that they knew way back in May and June about the imminent threat from, the Taliban taking back over Afghanistan, but they did nothing. They didn't. If they are really that incompetent, this whole administration should be actually tried. I mean, these are war criminals at this point, in my opinion. They have committed war crimes against the citizens of the United States and the citizens of Afghanistan. They should be arrested and they should be put in jail. And I don't care if it's Biden or whoever, all of them, Milley, Austin, the entire chain of command, Blinken, every single one of them, because every single one of them allowed this to happen. Every single one. And then not to get out Americans first. What dumbass does that? What person, any smart person would know that you get out the people, you get out the personnel first before you take out the military and before you leave equipment and turn. Who leaves $83 billion of fucking equipment? Who does that? You take your equipment with you, and if you can't take it with you, you bomb the shit out of it so the enemy can't get it.
Yeah, you destroy it.
You destroy it. So now, and when we do go back, because we're going back, we don't have a choice because people are pissed off and they know that, right? We're going, and now we're going to have to fight them using our technology and our equipment.
Yeah.
That's totally insane.
I don't think that shit was left there on accident. There's
no
way. It's common fucking sense. Like,
no,
you have to be a total moron to believe that they would leave all this equipment there for the fucking enemy. If that's what they're saying and you really believe that, like, you really better soul search and dig deep down of what's been told to you, to be honest.
Or better yet, just go find yourself a veteran or somebody who's been in the military and ask them,
Exactly.
what they would have done. And I'm telling you, and I'm with you, Jerome, and Charlie, like, when I started hearing what was going on, especially with the equipment and the way we pulled out, I'm like, it doesn't even have to be a top secret plan. Anybody that has been in the military at the basic level and just knows a little bit of something would know we would probably most likely move our civilians out first, because they cannot defend themselves. When we send civilians overseas, and I know this as a federal employee, you don't get to go overseas with a weapon. You're unarmed. So we would move the most vulnerable out of the way first. And then you would little by little strategically move yourself out of that area. And the last people that would have been out are probably, your military, whether it was on land or air. And to watch this unfold is crazy. But then to see the equipment and the amount of money in the equipment that we left there, I was like, to me, I was mind blown. It's sad. And I was saying, to me, it was a 50-50. I think that, yes, part of this is planned, and then the other part was his incompetency. But the more we talk about it, I think he is struggling mentally and to keep himself together. I think that's apparent, but I think this was a part of the plan the whole time. And I think they were trying to use it to say, hey, look, Trump left us here, and, put partial blame on him, but then also war makes money. War makes money. That's it's been like that forever. And I could tell you firsthand, I know that, because without war, there's certain places that just aren't up and kicking. I mean, they're not manufacturing what needs, weapons, or we're not sending out material, or whatever it may be. But war brings in a lot of money.
Right.
And it doesn't bring in money for the American people, per se. It brings in money for these fucking elitists who are going to continue to get richer, which is one of the big reasons I walked away from the Democrat Party. Once I realized how manipulative they are, where war creates money for these elite fuckers. And unfortunately, that they don't give a shit about our economy booming and actually investing in America. They really don't. Which is why I've said again, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat. All I care is that you actually look into shit and vote based on policy. Chris, can you do me a favor and pull up the video? Because you guys both have mentioned how they were going to talk about Trump, and Jerome mentioned how he did say that he was going to pull people out. I think he would have had a better plan, to be honest. I don't think it would have been what we are having now.
Oh, no.
He's not a dummy.
No.
But there's a video. The last video I sent. It's just like a press conference, a few minutes with Joe Biden talking, and listen to what he says. Give me a second. Yeah. You can play it.
The most interesting guy that I know in the press. That's you.
Mr. President, there had not been a U.S. service member killed in combat in Afghanistan since February of 2020. You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibility for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you'd one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban that he would get all American forces out of Afghanistan by May 1. In return, the commitment was made, and that was a year before. In return, he was given a commitment that the Taliban would continue to attack others, but would not attack any American forces. Remember that? I'm being serious. No, I'm asking you a question. Because before... No.
Remember that?
Is that accurate, the best of your not? What?
I don't think it's the issue that, do you think that people have an issue with pulling out of Afghanistan or just the way that things have happened?
I think they have an issue that people are likely to get hurt. Some, as we've seen, have gotten killed, and that it is messy. The reason why, whether my friend will acknowledge it or has reported it, the reason why there were no attacks on Americans, as you said, from the date until I came into office, was because the commitment was made by President Trump, I will be out by May 1st. In the meantime, you agree not to attack any Americans. That was the deal. That's why no American was attacked.
A few days ago, you said you squarely stand by your decision to pull out.
Yes, I do, because look at it this way, folks. And I have another meeting for real. But imagine where we'd be if I had indicated on May the 1st, I was not going to renegotiate a evacuation date. We were going to stay there. I'd have only one alternative: pour thousands of more troops back into Afghanistan to fight a war that we had already won relative to why the reason we went in the first place. I have never been of the view that we should be sacrificing American lives to try to establish a democratic government in Afghanistan, a country that has never once in its entire history been a united country and is made up, I don't mean this in a derogatory, made up of different tribes who have never, ever, ever gotten along with one another.
All right, so we're going to end that right there. So I'll go first real quick. So one thing, as I was watching him speak and answer these questions, I noticed how much, I'm going to throw it back up here real quick. I'm not going to play the video, but I noticed this during his press conference also, but how much he was holding on to that binder or to that folder. And some of the breaths that he was taking, like he looks like he's struggling. I know this gets into that, like where people are watching him to see, the little details to see how well he is doing mentally. But the reality is like, I've never really watched him, but I noticed that today. It's like, man, he's grasping onto that thing. Now he's either really not doing good or he's really stressed out. And I think it's a little bit of both. And I don't know. He said he bears responsibility, but then still talking about Trump. That's the only thing that gets me is like, yeah, we'll bear responsibility, but Trump. I'm tired of hearing about Trump. Trump's been gone. It's August, almost September. Trump's been out. It's done. He's in the past. Let's talk about what you're doing, and let's keep the focus there. And they don't want that.
Right. And the thing is, he can keep blaming Trump all he wants, but Trump's plan, well, I can pretty much guess what Trump told the Taliban, right? If you fuck with any Americans, I'm going to blow your ass to smithereens, and that's the bottom line. So we're going to do this date, but these are the things that your ass is going to have to stick to, or we're going to be here and we're just going to keep kicking your ass. How about that? And that's why there were no attacks on Americans before May 1st and before now, because they understood and they knew when Trump said something, he meant that shit. And Biden did not go along with the plan. He came in and threw out all of those conditions and wanted to be Billy Badass with his crew and say, we're going to do it my way. Fuck Trump. We're going to do it my way. Right? And we see his way is fucked up. So like you say, the buck stops here with me. Then his ass needs to be court-martialed as the commander-in-chief and sent to Leavenworth to jail or wherever the fuck they want to send him. And everybody else needs to be arrested and tried and fried along with them because they knew that all of this was coming and they had all the documentation. So
I could not agree with you more. And I wrote that down. I wrote that down earlier when you guys were mentioning Trump. Like I literally put sorry, I got a messed up finger. I put Trump, Biden, big difference. Like I literally wrote that in my notes. And I think that is the biggest difference. People don't understand that. Trump had no hair on his tongue. We know that, right? And I think that the difference is that they know that our leadership is weak, and that's why they will push. What happens when you have a little kid who you continue to let them get away with shit, they're going to keep doing shit. They're going to keep pushing. But if you tap that ass, they're going to stop. And I think that they knew that Trump was not fucking around.
Yeah, like you said, he did have a deal with the Taliban, and the Taliban said, "Okay, we'll be good until you guys leave." That was the deal, and they understood that. So, I mean, and to touch on what you said, Chris, too, about him clutching on. No, he has mental issues, man. The guy is early stage dementia. He's getting worse. They have to pump him up with drugs to get him through a press conference. And if you watch his press conferences, they gave him a list of reporters to call on. because one, he can't remember their names, and two, they want them to be sort of friendly. But a lot of these reporters are actually starting to ask some hard-hitting questions that he can't deal with. So that's why they have this list. Well, if you see
Jerome,
yeah.
you're cutting out a little bit, and your picture froze. Yes. So we're having some trouble hearing you.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do something real quick.
All right. So while you're taking care of that, oh man. So going back to arresting them all, and I've seen some comments up there, so we'll go ahead and throw a couple up. Here we go. I don't know who all of them are, but I think a lot of people need to get arrested, and it goes back to that. When we initially backed out and they had evacuated that Air Force base. Again, you don't have to take my word for it. Go find yourself somebody in the military. When you leave anywhere, you secure your area, you secure your weapons, you secure your vehicles, you secure personal belongings, everything. You make sure you're taking everything with you, especially sensitive items. What is crazy to me is I've seen them shut down bases doing to training events because we lost a secure or a high valued item. These aren't like top secret items, but they're high valued items. And I've seen them shut down bases looking for these items until they found it, or at least the training area. To me, to see us back out and leave everything there. And we're talking a lot of money and a lot of special equipment. And not one commander, general, lieutenant, no officers, nobody had an issue with that or spoke up. We just, all right, Mr. President, you want us to leave the fucking Black Hawk there and the jets and the Humvees? I don't know if they got jets, but we left some stuff, the drones, the MRAPs, whatever else. You just want, oh, okay. No, that's fucking crazy. Nobody would do that. But to me, this is the politics. He said do it, and we went with it. All right, let me. There we go.
All right, sorry.
You sound good now. So you were saying.
Anymore, but because we get it under tangents. But yeah. But all of them definitely should be arrested though, and put in jail because they knew. This was not a mistake, and if it was a mistake, then it's negligence. Okay. And you can't be in charge of a country being negligent. But what I was talking about, I remember now, is that this man is on. He has dementia, and they have to really get him focused. They give him list of reporters to call on every press conference. And today, in the United States, and you can't go up there and just speak from your heart about what happened today. You have to actually read off a teleprompter. Then you are in bad shape. You don't need to be leading the country anyway. And you can see he was reading off of a teleprompter. And it was sad. It was just sad, and it's a damn shame that that this guy was installed as our president. He wasn't elected. He was installed, by theft. And so, and this is what we get. And I believe this is where they wanted to take us. Anyway, they wanted to take us back to war because when they don't have anything left, they try to take us back to war. And that's what they're doing, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I think we said this the other night when we were on with Brittany and John Tisha Shelley. We were talking about some of this stuff, and I don't know if we said it during the show or if it was after the show, but I think there was a consensus where it seems like there's something going on, and Joe Biden said he was going to be like the most unifying president ever, whatever, right? I kind of think that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's kind of why I agree. I agree with the fact I think it was planned. Because how do you unite a country? We know that when 9/11 happened, it doesn't matter what people were fighting about. As soon as those towers were hit and they started to come down, whether you believe it was us or it was them or, conspiracy theories, it doesn't matter. Because even I know people that think that we did it to ourselves and we still were ready to go fight. We were ready to go fight the enemy because they gave us a reason to come together. for as crazy as that might sound, and I those people might be like, it gave us a reason to come together. And I'll tell you what, I was in high school when the towers were hit. At that time, I don't remember a lot about going on about race. I don't remember, there wasn't people talking about racism. And when those towers came down, there definitely wasn't any talk. And this nation came together. And I think a part of that is, if we do go that route, it's to try to unify people, because they put us in a hole and they hurt us. And they divided us too much that they can't fix it. But honestly, I think even if we go back to war, we're too damaged as a nation. I think for a war to even fix us, I think we got a lot of cultural building or rebuilding to do.
Well, I honestly don't think it's as bad totally as they make it seem, right? They're trying to make it as bad, because in my district, let's just say in my district where I'm running, right? And, and I look at my donors to my campaign, okay? They see I'm Black. They see what I stand for. Everybody knows what Jerome Bell stands for. And I don't bullshit. I don't sugarcoat. It just is what it is, right? But most of my constituents, most of the people that voted for me, most of the people that donate to my campaign, that support me are white people, And so I don't think we have a racism problem. I think we just have it's not racism. I just think we have a communication problem. Right. And the communication problem is that too many people listen to the mainstream media. Too many people listen to these talking head pundits on these news shows and all over telling us how bad it is. Right. But if you actually go out there, I don't see it. I don't see it being as bad as it is. I get attacked probably more by Black people than anything. And that still isn't really that bad, because a lot of people are waking up. So I think if we turned off the news, and if we stop, and if we really put an end to these people that, that's trying to do this with the critical race theory, bringing it into the schools and stuff like that, right? That's where it's at right now. We have these communists basically, right, in the country, and trying to divide us, because that's what communism does. So I believe it's more of that. It's not racial, but it's communists trying to drive the wedge in, putting this thought into people's heads, for the most part, I think.
All right. And I want to clarify something, right? So I see your post, Barbara, and I think this is a big misunderstanding, right? And by no way am I trying to insult you, but Muslim is not a race. Muslim is a religion. And yes, I 100% agree with you. When we started talking, and we weren't even targeting, at least for the most part, Middle Eastern. A lot of Indian people from India were being targeted because we didn't understand, or we didn't, see the difference. But as time went on, we stopped targeting those people, Indians or anybody we thought that might be those people, Middle Easterns, Muslim. And we really started focusing on Muslim, the people that were a religion. So that's why I say it wasn't a racial thing. Now, yes, did we target a specific religion? Yes, 100%. And I want to tie that back into what we're talking about now with Afghanistan. I agree. I think that's, if you want to unify us, give us somebody to go fight. If we do, and I hope we don't go back to war, but if we do, I think this time around, you got enough veterans and you got enough people that were alive and seen what was going on and seen people get mistreated, that we won't attack our own people. I don't think that we'll go after our Muslim U.S. citizens. It's not going to happen unless, you got somebody acting really suspicious, but I don't think we're going to see that. And I think that this administration knows that, which is why, I mean, that list of equipment that Shally had put up, that somebody posted, I think that's why they left that there, because it is a good way to bring us all back together. I still don't think it's going to work, but it might.
And like I watched a bunch of people post, right? Like Mitt Romney, for example. Now, this is what I talk about when I say you should vote based on policy, because I think Mitt Romney is a piece of shit. That's what I think of Mitt Romney.
Absolutely.
And he is a Republican. He's a piece of shit. He is what they call as a rhino. He is not for the people. He is for whatever conveniences his ass in the moment. So so watching their posts and all them, and it was like if it was scripted, they all said the same exact shit. So I'm like, did they send each other a group message? You know, like with their little sorry ass messages. I'm like, if I'm a mom of one of them people, guess what? Your little message don't mean anything to me. Like, because their blood is on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people know exactly what they're doing. Like, this establishment has been running, this wheel has been turning for decades upon decades upon decades. And like I said, I don't believe that this is just one of those things that just happened. I believe that a little bit of everything we said has to do with it. I think this is planned. I think this is meant to be deliberate. What's happening is because it was created that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and to touch on the Muslim thing, yeah, I mean, we were against radical Islam, okay? You know, the extreme radical Islam, because my sister-in-law, you know, is a Muslim, you know, so, you know, and I have Muslim friends, so we weren't really, like, say, going after those people, but we were going after the ideology of the radical extremists that want to kill Americans, you know, and I'll fight that anywhere. And you know, anywhere in the world, if you want to kill Americans, then I'm against you. You're the enemy, you know, no matter what your religion is. I mean, but it's an ideology. It's you know, we are fighting against ideologies, not necessarily people, not necessarily races or anything like that, but ideologies. And those are the hardest to fight.
Yeah, and I think even as American people always want to go to like, oh well, it's so Christian based, and we wouldn't do it if it was Christians. I'll be the first one to tell you, if the Christian Crusades was going on right now, and there was Christians running around killing people or, you know, hurting people, trying to force them to convert, and they were radical Christians, and there are radical Christians out there today, we would stand up against them. And I have met some radical Christians that think some crazy stuff and really try to force their religion. The difference is that they're radical, but not in the sense of violence. But those people, they're crazy, and you'll find other Christians looking at them and being like, dude, you need to calm down. Or that's not, you know, you're not going to win people over like that. The only thing we haven't seen is they just haven't been in a large enough group, and they're not out there killing people. They're not beheading people like we've seen with radical Islam.
Mm-hmm. Agree. So, I mean, just in the upcoming days, just watch it. I mean, just watch and see how it unfolds, you know, watch and see how they push us back. Because like I say, watching the news conference with Biden today told me a lot. It told me a lot of where we're headed and what they're planning. And you know, here's the thing with the Blinken. If you saw the Blinken interview yesterday, that was a cover our ass interview, because he kept saying the words, those Americans that want to be that want to leave Afghanistan. There's some fucking Americans that really want to stay in Afghanistan, right? But he kept saying that because when they leave them there, right? Which now it seems like that they're going to be left there because they, you know,
hey, Jerome, you're cutting out again.
Shit. I'm hardwired everything, man. Maybe, you know, I don't know what it is.
You sound good now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is, man. I'm hardwired. Maybe they're messing with my system. But I mean, but I think, you know, when Blinken was in that news conference yesterday, he kept saying over and over and over, those Americans that want to leave, those Americans that want to leave. So when they close those gates and all those Americans are left behind the gates, they're going to use that and say, well, those are the Americans that didn't want to leave. We didn't leave them. They didn't want to go. Right. You know, because they kept saying, I'm like, why does he keep saying this? But that's the spin that they're going to use to why 10,000, 15,000 Americans got left behind enemy lines to suffer. And that's what's going to happen, unfortunately, I believe.
Not to go off on a COVID tangent, but I want to relate what we're seeing in the media, right? Or from these politicians. So, and if you guys have watched our show before, you've heard me talk about programming and conditioning. What we're seeing when you see on the media, when you see them tell a narrative, tell a story, and then little by little that story starts to change to what they want you to believe, That's programming you. They're feeding you, and they're programming you and conditioning you to believe whatever their end narrative is. We've seen it with COVID. The story has constantly changed. 15 days to slow the spread, 30 days to slow the spread, and then it's constantly evolved to where now they got you thinking, hey, these are how things are going to be, okay? And that's just how it is. And some of you might not like that. I know most of our viewers probably agree, but it's a form of brainwash. And here you see again, and I was watching the same thing too, Jerome, and I know, Charlie, we've been going, we have our group chat. When you start seeing them say, we're going to get out everybody, well, we're going to get out who wants to get out, and the people that are still there, well, that's because they wanted to be there. They've done that gradually over the last week and a half. Mm-hmm. So then now when people are hearing it, they're like, oh, well, those people that are there, they want to be there. No, they didn't, but they've told you. You listen to the media tell you this lie little by little to the point where you're believing it. And they've been doing this to us. I haven't been paying attention to politics for very long. I will say only since Trump's been in. I will tell you since he was sworn in as president and I started following because of the immediate backlash that he got, I've noticed over the last 5-6 years that it's been a constant pattern. They slowly put this information out, and then they slowly start to get people to believe it. And then once you program them and condition them to be a certain way, it's very hard to unbrainwash them or to get them to see something different. And I know we've all talked to people like that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And that's a CIA program. It started way back. It's called Operation Mockingbird because Chelly hit on it. They say the same thing over and over. Even these politicians, they use the same script and they say the same thing over and over, and it's a programming mechanism, and it's called Operation Mockingbird. And you just say it over and over and over. And then that programs people start believing and start hearing it, and make them believe it, right? And that's what they're doing, and they're doing the same thing here, like here, and it takes people, it takes deprogrammed people to pick that up, right? It takes deprogrammed people to pick that up because if you're programmed, you're never going to see it. All you're going to do is just follow. And that's what we see now, with the, this is weird. I've never had this problem before, y'all. What's up?
No, but you're right. And I think some of us had our eyes opened up early. And for whatever reason, we were self-aware. We were aware of what was going on early enough, and we've kind of watched this thing, progress into a mess. What I'm hoping for now is that the people that have been, I hate that term woke, but the people that have been brainwashed, that have been asleep and just kind of going with the flow, I'm hoping now that it's this apparent and it's in their face that they're going, man, these guys have been lying to us. They're bullshitting us. I'm hoping those people open their eyes. I don't wake up and come to the middle of the table with the rest of us, right? If you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat, meet us in the middle. Start having those conversations, because I think you'll see that there's a little bit of truth on both sides. But if we come to the middle, we actually could have a conversation and say, okay, hey, it sucks that you've been played, but you've been played. Now, how do we make this better? How do we build that communication between us and start building our community so all of us could get along and start going back to these politicians and saying, hey, we're done. You're not going to fool us no more. That's what I'm hoping this does.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully, and, the thing is that people have to understand this one thing, that we are all free humans. And, they're trying to divide us. Like I saw somebody say, well, there's vaccinated, unvaccinated, right? They're trying to divide us that way. And here's the bottom line on that, right? I'm not going to take the vaccine or anything like that. But you know what? If you want to do it, you're a free human, you do that. If that's what you want to do, because that's your choice as a free human. And it's my choice as a free human being not to do it. And you shouldn't hate on me for it because I choose not to do it, right?
Agree. Let me see. Let me get that down.
So.
All right. So real quick, I want to play this clip.
and the best way to achieve those objectives. Those who have served through the ages have drawn inspiration from the book of Isaiah, when the Lord says, "Whom shall I send? Who shall go for us?" The American military has been answering for a long time. "Here I am, Lord, send me. Here I am, send me." Each one of these women and men of our armed forces are the heirs of that tradition of sacrifice, of volunteering to go in harm's way, to risk everything, not for glory, not for profit, but to defend what we love and the people we love. And I ask that you join me now in a moment of silence for all those in uniform and out. Uniform. Military.
It's it. Uniform. That's shit, man. Wow. That's can't even read the freaking teleprompter, man.
And that's and the reason why I play this, because it, to me, it's sad, because I want to, like, I was watching it live and I'm like, okay, moment of silence, and I'm so torn because I'm like, this dude's he's a joke. But at the same time, it's like my brothers and sisters have fallen. They're dead. They died. And we could have prevented this. This didn't have to happen. Mm-hmm. So I still have that respect. But listening to him, I'm like, it's sad. And the one thing I caught, the reason why I played this was it's the religion thing. And this is when they start falling back to religion. God watch over our soldiers. I'm Catholic. Book of Isaiah. They're quick to bring up religion in a time like this and to praise God and to talk about God. But when they're making their policies, when they're making their laws, when they're making their money, they don't think about religion and they don't think about us. And that, to me, bothers me the most as a Christian. That bothers me, to watch other Christians so easily disregard their belief and go against it.
Right, and I saw that, and I saw it live too, and in the moment of silence was great. But what I got out of that totally, that was his war speech. That was his war speech. Every time they talk about war, to bring people together, like I say, they talk about religion, they talk about God, they talk about coming together now under this Christianity. Join me now, let's go fight. That's what we do. That's what our young people do. And they send me, right? So all of that is just a war call to get people, amped up to get ready to go and volunteer to go back into this hellhole of Afghanistan, or wherever the next battle zone is going to be. And I think it's going to be in Afghanistan again, because China's there. It's a lot of money there. It's a thing called lithium there, and it's some other minerals there that we can't allow China to have. So I mean, a lot of this goes deeper than what people think. Okay. It's not about these dead soldiers and the dead people and what's going to happen in Afghanistan. All of these people have been sacrificed, and they're going to be sacrificed for these greedy ass elites and these globalists that just want money, because all of these people now are just casualties of war. And you'll hear them say that, it's just the fog of war, it's the casualties, we're sorry it happened, and they're heroes, right? They're heroes. Well, you know what? They didn't have to be heroes and be dead heroes, because this didn't have to happen. But watch as the days go on, you're going to see this march. You're going to see this call, and you're going to see the Operation Mockingbird from the media. You're going to see it from these politicians. You're going to see it from Democrats. You're going to see it from Republicans, these rhinos, who really don't care about America. You're going to see this march, and you're going to see them push. We got to go back. We got to go in. We got to do this. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Because these dead people, dead Americans, and they're just going to keep repeating over and over and over and over and over. And that's going to be the thing, in my honest opinion. I have to say that because people call me crazy. So,
I agree with you 100%. I think that the whole use of the word Christianity and start quoting the Bible, because at the end of the day, they want to unite, right? And I think it's a part of their bigger plan to bring conservatives and liberals, etc., progressives together, because the one thing we are emotional about is our people. In the one time,
and we are
when it
for
comes to
the
war.
most part Christian people too. The country is primarily a Christian country, and we believe in God. And that's one thing that most people can get behind, right?
Yeah.
So that's when his ass started. You never hear him talk about God. I mean, hell, they took God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. When they were impeaching Trump, right? They're trying to remove God, but now they want to put God back in now, right? Because okay, we need to get these people, back under this umbrella. So now let's insert God back into it, which we never did anyway, right? And so now they'll be back. So it's all a mind game. It's all programming. It's all it's all bullshit. Really, it's just all bullshit.
I agree 100%. Chris, I just sent something in the Just Us page. Can you pull it up? Jack, you had posted something earlier. I did see the comment. I just didn't want to interrupt, but he was talking about these quarantine camps when you talked briefly about COVID, Chris. So they are true. If you think that they are not true, think again. I'm going to pull up an article right now. This is happening in Australia. There's a reason why you don't hear a lot of news from Australia. Okay. It's kind of like remember when China took all their shit off of the internet and nobody knew what was happening when COVID first started, and we were trying to talk to people and people were trying to talk to us and they didn't want us to know. So this is, I can't pronounce her name. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name. So they greenlight the Toowoomba quarantine camp. So here's the article. I will share it on my Facebook page if you guys want to read it further. But this shit is happening. If you think it's not, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I just want you to open your eyes, open your mind, start looking into stuff for yourself. It is happening. It is here. I just kind of wanted to bring that point up.
So I'll after you post it, I really highly suggest people start one, not only just follow our national news and what's going on and doing some research, whether it be COVID or Afghanistan, but actually going out and looking for more than just one source. But I agree with you, Charlie. Like, I've been following this Australia thing, and it's crazy.
It's very.
People really, like, don't just look here, but also look at what's going on around the world. Because this all started in Australia. I mean, it didn't all start with the one guy, but there was a guy. If you read the story as it's developing, they're saying he left his hotel where he was supposed to be quarantined. And then I think as of today, they say, well, he left his hotel to go to another hotel that he was supposed to be at to quarantine there. So they're on this manhunt, and they found him at the other quarantine. As they're taking him out, he was yelling, I was quarantining. I've been quarantining the whole time. And they just disregarded that, and they still took him into custody. They put him in this full suit, gloves, mask, everything. And it's crazy, but this is what's going on. And what should scare people is that people are willing to give up their freedoms right now for safety or whatever it is. Don't. Because look, if you look at what's going on in Australia, you give up your rights to have weapons, to have any type of freedom. Australians can't defend themselves. They ain't got no weapons. The government owns everything. Their police own everything. So they're screwed if they want to stand up and revolt. I mean, and now they let all this COVID stuff happen, and now they're being arrested. And then they kept saying quarantine camps, and they're not calling them quarantine camps. But now they're saying they're going to be done by 2022, and they weren't calling them quarantine camps until today, or maybe it was yesterday. Now they're quarantine facilities where they're going to pick you up, ship your ass off to this place, and you're going to have to stay there. That should scare people because that shit's a reality. We've done it before. I mean, we've had camps when we were bringing I know in California we had like Korean camps where they were bringing people in and kind of holding them there. And yes, we release them, but the fact is that it has happened on a minor level. You look at the Jews and what they went through. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. I don't want to be in any of those scenarios. So I think we really need to wake up and say, hey, we don't want to be like Australia, and really start voicing our opinion and fighting for our freedoms.
I agree.
And you know, and not that, you know, they're taking their kids, forcefully taking their kids and vaccinating their kids, and some of those kids have died from the vaccine too. People, I don't, you know what? I don't give a shit what side you're on, left, right. I don't care. But at least be on this side. At least be on the side where you understand the Second Amendment and you support the Second Amendment and you support the right to protect ourselves, because the Second Amendment was to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, not from each other, not really to hunt. Yeah, even though, you know, we use the same guns to hunt, some of us do, or whatever the case is, but those guns are there to fight and protect us against a tyrannical government. And you guys see what's happening. If you don't see what's happening, you know, around you, then, you know, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you, because you're going to be some of the ones that get caught up. You know, you're going to die because you're going to go take the vaccine, or you're going to die because you're going to end up in a camp or something. Okay. And, you know, and I don't want that to happen to anyone, but it's at a point now where we almost have to get ready to draw that red line in the sand, where, okay, we as people, as free people, are not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take, you can't tell us, you can't make us wear masks. You can't make us get a card to eat. You can't make us get a card to, you know, move freely around this country. This is a free country. I've been to countries where they ask you for your papers. I've been to Russia. I've been to these different places where they ask you for your papers and you better have them or you're going to jail. I've been there. Okay. You don't want that here in the United States at all, because and it's coming. The more we give up our rights and the more we capitulate and the more we comply to these mandates, which are not laws. These are not laws. These things have not been through the legislatures. Okay. If they haven't been through the legislatures and made law by voting, they are not laws. They're mandates, and mandates are not law. And people need to stand up to these mandates. They need to stand up to these, you know, draconian governors and these men who think that they're kings and queens. They're not. They're not. It's more of us than it is them. And we have to remember that.
All right. So we
don't play it yet, Chris. Don't play it yet.
Okay.
Pull it up, but don't play it yet.
All right.
Give me 1 second. I'm looking for something really, really quick. So that's pretty much all we have in regards to what's going on, but just watch and see what's going on. Continue to follow this story. Stay informed, inform yourself, inform your families, get involved as much as you possibly can. Educate yourself. Educate yourself, because it does truly matter. And that's what we've been trying to get people to realize, or plant a seed, so to speak, so that people can educate themselves. Tonight's video, although we have all this stuff going on, we are going to end it. And it just kind of ties into the reason you should educate yourself is because you should vote based on the knowledge that you have. You should not vote based on family traditions. You should not vote because of the way you were raised or taught to be raised. So that's kind of, we're going to end on that. But before I do that, we always on this platform will recognize one of our fallen heroes. And so I don't want to forget to do that. I don't want to stray away from that. So I'm trying to pull it up. My computer is acting a fool a little bit, but just give me a second. So we are going to recognize a fallen officer. Where in the heck? It's not pulling up the ones I want. Hold on a second, give me a second. And then I'm trying to move with this like thing on my finger. It's so inconvenient. It drives me freaking nuts. I got into it with a mental. I'm like, I'd like to see a social worker respond to that one.
Hey, Mary. Hey, Mary Rounds. Are you in Georgia now, Mary? Did you move yet?
All right, here we go. Got it. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so let me share this. I don't need to share audio. All right, let's go. Okay, so tonight we are going to recognize Officer Jason Rayner. He's from Dayton Beach Police Department in Florida. His end of watch was August 17th of 2021. A little bit about his info. He's 26 years old. He is 5 years on the job. So police officer Jason Rayner succumbed to a gunshot wound sustained on June 23rd of 2021 while he was investigating a suspicious vehicle. He noticed the vehicle parked near an apartment building in the 100 block of Kingston Avenue at about 8:50 p.m. One of the occupants exited the vehicle and then suddenly pushed Officer Rayner. During the ensuing struggle, the subject shot Officer Rayner in the head. The man fled to Atlanta, Georgia, where he was arrested 3 days later. He was extradited to Florida and charged with attempted first-degree murder of law enforcement officer prior to Officer Rayner's death. Officer Rayner had served with the Dayton Police Department for 2 years and had previously served with the Port Orange Police Department for 3. He is survived by his mother, father, and sister. This is a true hero. This is what I call a real hero. And everybody should know his name because he actually died making the ultimate sacrifice. So my prayers out to his family. This did happen in June, but he just passed recently. So prayers to his family.
Definitely prayers to his family. Angie, to answer your question, I haven't brought my show back yet because I'm still suspended. They keep suspending me on Facebook, so I can't stream my show. I've been suspended for like 2 months now or something like that. And because I'm suing Facebook. But you can follow me on Twitter right now. I'm on Getter, I'm on Gab, but I primarily, trigger the snowflakes on Twitter right now. And that's at Jerome Bell VA. And you spell my name JAROMEBLLVA. And my website, my campaign website is JeromeBellForCongress.com. So if I'm back on Facebook, I'll bring my show back. But right now I'm battling. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter right now. I come on Shelly's show. She invites me a lot, but a lot of times our schedules just don't match to where I come on because I'm doing other interviews and things like that. Steve Bannon's show, InfoWars, Stu Peters, different shows like that. So, I'm just, but I like to come on Shelly's show. Thanks for inviting me back again tonight, Shelly. It's good to see you again, Chris. Always good to actually be here with you guys, man. It's always good to be here and chat it up with you guys, because this is where it gets done. I saw, I think somebody brought up, well, how can we unify and get that line drawn? Well, it starts in places like this. It starts, with these conversations, to where, we begin to trust each other, no matter what. Right. And so, and that's the name of it. That's the name of the game. It's nothing, about racism. It's all about being Americans, and being America first to me. So, if we can get that going on, and because it's just really us against the government. And I'm running for the government, right? But I'm running for the government to make change because I understand, that we need people, we need true blood Americans that love this country in our government, So, but we all have to just be as one. We all have to come together, no matter what color, no matter what race, no matter, what we really truly believe in, as long as we believe in America.
Agree. So we got a video we're going to put up in a second. For me, you can follow me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all Chris Chaparro. I'll go ahead and post on Facebook in the chats where you in the comments area where you guys can follow me. I do have my own page. It's on YouTube, California Conservative. I'm not relying, I'm kind of lagging on putting up new videos and new content. Just because we've been doing so much on this page with just us getting together as a group, I feel like that's been more important because people need to see us coming together and have these conversations. All right, so are we, Shelly, are we finishing with the video and then going, and that's it, right? All right, cool. Do you have any last comments or any final thoughts? We got Jerome.
I do. So basically what I said earlier before the video was that Chris had sent me this video, and it's funny, right? But it's also very serious. And this is kind of like the experience that I've had in my life. So I think that a lot of people can relate to it. And this is why it is so important to think outside the box. Do not follow your family if they are just following their family and their family and their family, because that's what we do in this tradition. Because over time, parties have changed and morals and standards have changed. So that's why we want to bring you this video.
All right. So as I'm bringing it up, real quick. So my brother had shared this video with me earlier. He sends me a lot of TikTok stuff, and we'll go back and forth, him, my sister-in-laws, and we laugh, right? So he sent me this one. I thought it was going to be funny, and I was expecting to laugh, and then I started listening to this guy speak, and I was done. I was juiced. I was like, man, this makes me want to go talk to people, like, more than what I'm doing now. And my brother Steve was like, because this reminds me, he said, this dude reminds me when you get on your little soapbox and you start talking to people, because in the Hispanic community, and I know, they go through it in the Black community too. I've heard Jerome talk about it. Like when you want to do something good and you want to be better, sometimes you're kind of put, I won't say like almost shamed, like how are you going to go against your people, or why do you want to switch it up, and why are you trying to hang out with the white people? And for those of us, like if you're that person in your family where you're like, hey, no, this is the right thing to do. I want to go be that police officer in my community. I want to be the mentor in my community. I kind of, side with some Republican views. If you want to go be you. Don't worry about what your family's saying, because we can't make change unless you start being that change. What is it? How do you say it, Chelly? You got to be the change you
got to be the change you want to see in the world.
There you go. I would have jacked it up. There you go, right there. And we're going to end with this, but this dude, he inspired me, and I sent it to Chelly. She said, let's play it tonight. So here you go.
See, there's a saying in Spanish that is, el peor enemigo del mexicano es otro mexicano, which means the worst enemy for a Mexican is another Mexican. And it's true. You see, the way we grew up is, as a minority, is that our grandparents and our parents, they made us like that. Yes, I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. They told us that the system is corrupt and it's for the gabacho, that you're never going to be able to get ahead. You're never going to be able to do nothing because the system is for them. So it kind of fucks you up. You get into either a life of crime or you just get a job that ain't nada. You start having a bunch of kids. Y valió verga. Now you're stuck in that system. You're on food stamps, on housing, and all that, jale, because, you ain't never going to be able to do nothing because it's a white man's world anyways. It's not right. That's not true. You see, like everybody complains that most cops are white. But when somebody from the community wants to be a cop to help the community, they jump on him. No, ese güey es vendido, güey. He's no good, güey. So no vale verga. Then they're fucking saying, hey, but we're not all criminals. Why are they treating us like criminals? But when somebody wants to help you, you fucking hate them. Same thing with Avato from the Border Patrol. He's doing it for his family, maybe get ahead, go to the FBI or something later. I said, no vale verga, güey. So he forgot where he came from. Or you're a business owner. Now you're a business owner. You're up here and always some mamón ese güey. They think they can take advantage of you. It can be a piggyback. Nah, we no got pedo, güey. He has a business. He's got money, güey. Not knowing that to own a business is actually more stressful than work for somebody. right? Hey, wait, can you sign for my? You have a business? Can you sign for my card? Because I don't have good credit. You know what? I can't, fool. I'm trying to. Oh, pinche mamon. You forgot where you came from, pinche vendido. You're trying to be white. Yeah, the worst enemy for a minority isn't a minority. Like that. You see, they call themselves progressive, but they want you to fucking think about stuff that happened a long time ago. You cannot fix the past. You cannot do nothing about the past. If you want to, you can be aware of it. You can't do nothing about it, so why dwell on it? They think like high school kids, right? You know, people in your life, they're already in their 40s and their 50s. They never owned a goddamn thing. They don't own a house. They still rent. They ask you for money, but shit. But they're with the huelga and with the resistance. They ain't doing shit. You're gonna be like them, still thinking about stuff that you can't do nothing about, trying to reclaim something that you can't. Because she's gone, man. Or are you going to be the new one? Are you going to be successful? The way for Raza to be successful, for more Raza to be successful. It ain't going to happen thinking like that. They go to college, they come back thinking that this is the worst place in the world, caring more about skin color than about getting ahead. It ain't going to work. Forget about them. Forget about what they think about you or what they say about you. Mandalos a la verga. They're going to talk about you behind your back anyways because you didn't help them get that bitch-ass car. All right? Who's a real vendido? The ones that think like in the past? The ones that are trying to keep you down on food stamps? Or the ones trying to get ahead? You ain't going to get ahead thinking like them. Rato.
He just told my whole life right there. He literally just told my whole life.
Those are facts. I mean, and you know, like I said, that's not only in the Hispanic community, that's in the Black community too. It's so funny because when I go home, right, you know, and you see the guys that I graduated. I mean, I graduated in 1984, right? 1984, and you see the same guys that you graduated with at home doing the same shit, talking about the same stuff, right? You know, and like you say, it ain't got shit. They still renting. They, they got a piece of car or whatever the case is. You know, they got, still doing a little piece of job. Ain't never tried to get ahead. And guess what? Oh man, it's the white man's fault. Or why are you trying to be white? I get that all the time. Oh man, why are you trying to be white? You running for Congress and shit, man. Black people don't do that shit. That dude was on point. That's just straight talk. That's just straight talk right there. Major.
All right. Hey, he had me juiced earlier. I was like, yep, that's what I tell people, especially my community. Like, we got to be that change. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm the oddball in my family. I was for a while there. I don't care. I keep speaking out, and I'm actually changing minds. People are starting,
right.
My family's starting to see what's going on. And we actually realize, like, hey, no, we don't want to be like some of our family that's still in the same spot. Like, so no, we actually want to progress. So it was on point. I'm going to leave it with that for the night. I know, Jerome, as always, thank you for coming on. It's always great. And everybody in the comment section, it was another good night. Please share the video. Ask us questions, leave us comments. I know I've seen some people dropping stuff in inboxes. We appreciate it, and keep helping us grow so we can build this community and try to bring more people together.
Right. Facts. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on. I love having you here.
Anytime. I love being here. And I'll be here every chance I get.
And let us know if there's anything that we can do on this platform to help support you running. If you'd like us to share anything, I'd be more than happy to do it. I know Chris would be.
Okay,
so would
cool.
John Tisha. So please let us know if we can help you in any way, shape, or form. We are one family, and we all have one thing in mind, right? Being great Americans, true, free Americans. On that note, we are going to say goodnight, but not before I leave you guys with a little bit of funny.